Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome to our daily devotion. I'm glad you're here listening. If you have any praise or prayer requests, please drop those in the comments below. We would love to be praying for you and we'd love to know how you're doing. So, I'm going to be going over one of my favorite chapters or my favorite stories in the Bible altogether, which is Daniel chapter 6. It's the story of Daniel in the lion's den. I don't have time to read the whole thing. I'm going to summarize it for you guys, but I really encourage you guys to pull that up and read it on your own. It's an amazing chapter, and I'm going to be telling you kind of one of the things that I get from it, but there's a lot you can get from this story, so really I do encourage you guys to read this one. So it starts off by telling us Daniel is one of three high officials. And these high officials are over satraps, which are basically governors. King Darius, the king at the time, has set up 120 satraps to help him rule his kingdom, and three high officials over the satraps. And Daniel has quickly become King Darius's favorite. And it says that he's his favorite because of Daniel's extraordinary spirit. So the other two high officials don't like Daniel a whole lot. They know that the king has decided that he's going to put Daniel above them too, and they don't like that. And they know they can't get Daniel in trouble for anything because he doesn't do anything wrong. He's a great guy. So they go to the king with all the other satraps and they say, hey, listen, we've got this law. We think it's a great law. No one should be able to pray to anyone except you for 30 days. And the king signs it. And they do this knowing that Daniel prays in the upper room of his house and they can see him praying through the windows 3 times a day. So after the king has signed this law, they find Daniel praying, then they go to the king and say, hey, Daniel's praying. Didn't you say that no one can pray except to you? And the king's reluctant because he likes Daniel. He doesn't want to see Daniel dead. And the punishment for this crime is being thrown into a lion's den, as we know. But there's nothing he can do about it. He signed the law. He can't take the law back. So he orders Daniel be brought before him and be thrown into the lion's den. And so they throw him into the lion's den. The king's upset about it. He stays up all night worrying about it. Daniel's in the lion's den all night. And this is where I'm going to kind of explain what I get out of this chapter. So if you're focused on your problems, they become really big. Right? If we're only focused on a problem in our life or an anxiety we're having or a stress, something that's causing us stress, we're going to focus on it until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets so big that it could seem as big as the problem of being thrown into a lion's den. But if we focus on God and you turn your attention towards God, the problems get smaller. They don't seem as bad anymore. If you focus on anything long enough, it can seem as bad as a 400-pound lion that looks real hungry and it's looking you right in the face. But here's the thing, is I don't think Daniel was focused on those lions at all when he was in that lion's den. I think if he was focused on those lions, we wouldn't have the story of him surviving the lion's den. He was focused on God. The whole time he was focused on God. God sent an angel to close the lions' mouths. And when the king came back in the morning and had the rock removed and saw Daniel in there alive with the lions sitting there and they pulled him out and he was unharmed, the king knew that too. Now we can all agree that being thrown into a lion's den is just generally an awful thing to happen to anyone. But anything that happens to anyone happens because God allows it. God allowed Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den, and he knew that Daniel had faith and that he was going to be able to deliver Daniel. He knows what's happening to you. He knows you can handle it, and he knows that he can deliver you through it, right? He can close the mouths of the lions around you. No matter what your lions may be, lions being metaphors now, he can close the mouths of those lions if you focus on him. In 1 Peter 5:7, it says, cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. He'll close the lions' mouths because he cares for you. We just need to focus on God. We need to have faith in God, focus on God, and turn towards God when we're having these problems and these anxieties, and he can make them better for us. He can help us through these hard times and make all of our problems seem smaller. That's what I get out of it. I'd love to hear what you guys get out of it. Please let me know after you've read it what lessons you're taking out of this chapter. It's an amazing chapter, and have a good day, guys.